just your experience with remote interviewing. I'm quite curious about this.
Yeah.
I know, so I've had only yesterday I've had somebody specifically say, I wonder if the hiring manager is open for a 20-minute coffee. And I said to him, well, I mean, do you mean in person, or do you mean like having a coffee over Teams or Zoom? And he said in person. And it's not the first time I've been asked this. And it's a funny question, because I'd say there's quite a few hiring managers, especially more senior levels, more strategic hires. They would be open to it potentially,
Yeah.
and candidates as well. So, um, what I know from that, and I know from people asking these questions, and we can only assume that the people who ask these questions are only the tip of the iceberg of people who
Yeah.
actually do want to and just don't ask because, pandemic, etc.
Yeah.
I wonder, how did you find the remote interviewing experience yourself as opposed to in-person interviewing?
So yeah, I have a few thoughts there actually that come into my mind while you were talking there. So the
So,
first thing is that yeah, this whole it can be very impersonal. Now video and whatever. And look, we've all seen. Well, I have plenty of little jokey videos about people talking over each other and on Zoom calls. It's
and
but
cat
that
cat filters as well, Martin. I'm sure you've seen that one. That's one of my personal favorites of 2021 so far. I just thought it was hilarious, I have
Yeah,
to say.
that's one of the best things I've ever seen actually. But yeah, that those kind of funny things aside,
Yeah.
I find that let's say the barrier to entry or the barrier to interviewing people is kind of lowered a little bit. Now, look, this is my view. So I found that I had probably um, five, maybe six interviews for different roles, and a few of them I felt like I was in a long list of people. That day was probably booked out 8 hours for 30 minutes each.
Mm.
Um, so I think from the company's point of view, that's probably good. They can get through a lot of interviews, quicker as opposed to calling people in and trying to, it's easier, I guess, to arrange times. I think personally. Um, on the side of it that really kind of is going to be a challenge, I find, is I'm joining a new company now, and I don't know when I'll ever meet my coworkers face to face for the first time. Now, I did specify when I was looking for a role that I really wanted remote first. However, I feel, for the first 6 months at least in the job, it's good to at least a couple of times see your coworkers and meet them face to face, because company culture, it's a big thing to embed yourself in the culture and get up to kind of speed really quickly with the ways of working and stuff, um, as opposed to being remote and kind of, different companies will be better or worse in how they onboard people, but ultimately you're trying to embed yourself in a new culture, right? All businesses will have different
Yeah.
cultures. My hiring manager was based in New York, so the
Mm.
coffee, if they would have paid for that, that would have been a brilliant coffee, 20-minute coffee for me to go over there. But I do know what they mean, because you can look, a phone call is you lose a lot of body language and everything with a phone call. A Zoom call, you probably get a bit back, but there's a lot, lost as well, not being face to face and in person. But
Yeah.
for me, I didn't personally find that too challenging. That was just my experience, but I know different people are like, the roles you're looking for will also, I think the different roles and the different kind of profiles of people will feed into that kind of very differently. I'm very much on the engineering side of it, the kind of the the writing code side of things. So for me, the remote thing is good and it's fine. But I do kind of foresee there being not an issue, but it'll be different trying to embed and get feel like part of the company, because nothing's changed, right? I'm sitting at home and I'm gone from working with one company last month to a different company next month, but I'm still sitting at home. You know what I mean? No, so my day to day has
Yeah, that's a
has
good
my
point.
my life hasn't changed in a drastic way. Whereas, like, when I moved from my previous company to the last company I was working from, I went from driving over here or cycling over here to getting two buses over here. You know, my whole life changed. Everything changed. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
so
good
so
point. That's
yeah,
that's actually a really good insight, and even for me as a candidate, as a recruiter, it's that's a good point for me to kind of think about, because I have moved jobs since the beginning of the pandemic since quite a few years, and um, it's not something I even would have thought about. So no, thanks for that. That's really important.